Welcome back to my studio. In this video, I'm going to show you a time lapse of how I patterned Elsa from Frozen 2. This is her spirit dress, the white dress that she wears at the end of the movie. And this is also kind of the dress that they have at the Disney parks. So to start out, this isn't exactly a tutorial on how to pattern because I am still very new at patterning, but for when I pattern, I always start on my dress form and I just kind of like pin fabric and draw on it and add darts and things like that. And then as you can see here, I'm adding the embroidery pieces, and I always start on the dress form and try my best to make things look as accurate to the design that I want. I did make a decision that I'm not exactly going with like screen accurate, but I am trying to kind of get a nice accurate silhouette at least. And at this point in the process, I was thinking of doing all of this over my white corset that I use for Morticia and a few other costumes. So a lot of the things that I'm doing are so that I can wear it over the corset and it kind of like ends up hiding some of the corset. I will later change my mind, but that's kind of where I'm at this point in the process. And now it's time for an Eva break. She absolutely loves to come in and bother me while my camera is on or my lights are set up. So here is her 15 seconds of fame. Back to patterning. So basically what I'm doing is I'm using the organza to kind of be the example of like what the chiffon is going to be. And at this point I was planning to have a chiffon layer, a lining, and the satin layer, obviously with all the embroidery and all that other good stuff on top of it. And I do realize later on that this kind of creates a lot of bulk in the dart areas. So I eventually revised this idea and try to create less bulk in those areas and make a better fit garment. But I still, go forward with this. And I'm also, at this point of the stage, I'm trying to make this snowflake in the back work. As you can see, I'm also trying to make all of the embroidery pieces work. And this was just a lot of planning and a lot of like, okay, where is this going to fit? How high up does this have to go? And trying to pin and figure it all out. And it's a very long process. And then when I'm done with this piece, you'll see later on that I actually go through and put it on paper, and I put it on paper multiple times. Once I move on to the skirts, it does get a little faster, and you can see Eva there again. It does get a little bit faster because skirts are a little bit easier for me to picture and figure out. I decided to do a dart in the front of the skirt. I also do a dart. I also decide that I want it pretty long actually, and this is where I realized I don't have enough chiffon. So I did order more chiffon, but the skirts alone are about 6 yards of chiffon. And then the like capelet, which I don't drape on the on this video. I will drape that at the beginning of the capelet video, but the skirts, the chiffon is about 6 yards, and I have 6 more yards coming. So I do have a very long train with the skirts. I just want this to be magnificent and glorious, like always. So now I'm taking this to paper, and with the skirts, I don't do a lot of revisions on the paper form, and if I do end up needing to, I just write it down on the actual piece of paper and say like I need to add 2 inches of hem here, or do this or that or the other thing, because they're so much larger, and I don't want to waste paper. There is quite a bit of waste in this process though, which is unfortunate. I do reuse all of my cotton though, so like when I draped all those skirts, they go back into a bin, and then I will eventually use them for something. But for even the mock-ups, the only pieces I don't reuse are the bodice pieces because they're just a little bit too small to reuse. But for the bodice in particular, I revised this several times. It's such a long process, and I think I made 3 total mock-ups of the bodice and then just 1 of the skirts. And this is the first one, and something I noticed with the cotton layer is because it was layered over the organza, the dart placement was actually a lot wider than it needed to be, and it created kind of a weird gape in the back of it, and actually it fit funny in the front. So then I end up using the organza piece as the actual piece of the bodice, and I like that a lot better. And yeah, and then I also like play with sleeves and adding things that don't make sense, and you know, I didn't do any math or research on how to do that. I just kind of made things up and it didn't work, just so you know. But that's kind of this part of the process. So I'm going to have an invisible zipper going right here, and it's going to go from this point all the way down to I think here like 22 inches. So that is going to be the closure, like how I get in and out of it. I haven't made any like sleeves yet. The skirts I haven't really tested, but I might test those like at a different date, and I don't know. I won't edit this video because I'm not gonna lie, like there's no point in adding all that extra stuff. But this netting is supposed to like act as the chiffon that will go here, and it will have sleeves, and there will be a seam up here. Well, I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But either way, this is gonna be how it goes, and then in the back, and there are darts right here. Again, this will be closed. It's just very difficult to hold it closed and also talk about it, but there's darts here. And basically what I'm going to do is create a lining that is like a white and put boning channels or boning into the lining, and then do the chiffon, and then the satin, and then do all the details on top. So that's the plan. And then the skirt, and this goes literally straight to my belly button, so I actually will add an inch at the bottom so that it goes just below my belly button. But anyway, so then I'm also got to work through the skirts, but it looks good. I've had a lot of like issues, I guess, with it, but it works. Ignore my strappies, but yay. Okay, so I know I said in the last one I wasn't gonna do more mock-up stuff, but I'm not done. So I added boning, and I moved the zipper to the back versus having an invisible zipper on the side, and I like this a lot better. Something that I didn't do that I should have done was actually sew this zipper as if it was a zipper and not just like in between. I wasn't sure if it would fit, but now I know that I don't have to add a ½ an inch there, that I can actually fold that over like it's a zipper, and it'll actually take all of this in by 1 inch, which is exactly what I want, which means it'll all be fitted. It fits me now. this is without a bra, which is what I wanted, and it means I don't have to corset because it's basically a mini corset inside of the Elsa dress. So now we're gonna do some time lapse of me making a mock-up of the skirts and adding it, and then I can be ready to actually make things. Yay, making things. So for the few minutes that it takes to do this time lapse, I'm going to tell y'all a story about my week. It has been insane. So on Tuesday, we had a crazy thunderstorm, lightning storm, all of that. And a lightning bolt hit our cable outside and basically fried our modem, which then was connected to our router, which fried the port for the router and also fried one of the ports on our TV that it connects to. And it's been a nightmare. So we haven't exactly had Wi-Fi. Toby actually went in and hooked my computer straight up to the Ethernet. He went and got a new modem because he realized the modem was fried in like pretty fast that day. And then he got home and started testing things and it wasn't working and all this stuff. We thought like, well, the internet is down because it was actually down in our neighborhood. And so we waited to the next morning and then the next day. And then finally at like 7 o'clock, it no longer said that it was the next day. This is like over 24 hours later. It finally said that there were no outages. So we're like testing, and he found out that the router like plugs in and lights up, but the port was actually fried. So we ordered a router and it was supposed to arrive last night. This is Saturday, so last night it was supposed to arrive, and it was one stop away. It was literally the neighborhood across the street, and the truck started going back to like it's where its hub. I'm trying to not disclose where I live, so it's going back to its hub, and we're like freaking out. We're like, oh my God, where's our router? Why isn't it here? And they still haven't brought it, so this is our life right now. I've been on data all weekend, which luckily because of the coronavirus, I haven't used any data, but that's my life. That's this week. All right, let's talk about this mock-up now. Yay! Okay, so this is going to have a zipper in the back, like I said in the last video, and I realized from this mock-up that the front two panels are actually 2 inches shorter than the back 2 panels, so I have to create a longer hem, but overall I really like it. I love the slit, and I think it's going to be really pretty and really dramatic. I didn't have enough cotton to fully execute the back, so it's a few inches shorter than what it will actually be, and I also didn't kind of like pattern out where the satin is going to go over the chiffon. I figured I would do that when I'm actually making it, because the first step is going to be cleaning up the chiffon and getting the chiffon's hems all rolled and getting that all sewn. So I figured I'll figure that out when I start that. But overall, I really love the silhouette. It's pretty dramatic for such a not very dramatic silhouette. I mean, Elsa's silhouette is beautiful, but it's not, it's not like Rococo or like my Ariel. And so it's like, it was a little tricky and difficult. At this point in the game, I still have not drafted sleeves. So we're going to see how that goes. But overall, I love it. Next week, I will have a video on how I make the bodice, and you can see me struggle bust through that because that was an adventure in and of itself. But thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Happy sewing!